We're here because we've got a really good football team here, and this is not about narratives and stories. It's about the facts and the data that support a really good football program. And it's my responsibility to make that case and to make sure that I'm fighting for a team that I believe deeply in, and I believe with every strand of my being deserves a chance to compete for a national championship. I think it's the best thing for college football. I think this group of players and staff have worked really hard to put an exciting product on the field, one that's energized our Nashville community, our Vanderbilt community, but the potential for this goes way beyond that. And the merits of the case are about strength of record. The ESPN Football Power Index has us ranked 11th in terms of the strength of record. It's about strength of schedule of the teams that are ranked ahead of us. Only 4 have a higher strength of schedule ranking. We played 6 teams that were ranked at the time of our game against them. 4 of those were ranked in the top 15. And so again, those are measures for the moment to say that was what was perceived about those teams. Our 2 losses came on the road at Alabama, at Texas. They're combined 19-5 in the season. Both of those games played out differently, but both we were within striking distance in the 4th quarter. We're 10-2 against the spread, and again, I don't pay a lot of attention to that, but I know that record against the spread should be closer to 6-6. This is the expected point differential in games. We've outperformed the perception of our program, and I think this perception started at the beginning of the season. We had a team coming off a bowl win against a really strong Georgia Tech team that returned the most production in our league on offense and defense, and it took us all the way up until a win on the road at South Carolina to get ranked and get recognized. I feel like we've earned every bit of respect that we've gotten this year, and I feel like the gap that we have to close keeps getting bigger. We're peaking at the end of the season. We've come off back-to-back dominant performances in our league, the last of which was at Tennessee against a really good Tennessee team on the road. We have the 2nd best overall scoring differential in our league, behind only Texas A&M, and we have the 3rd best in terms of scoring differential in SEC games, behind Texas A&M and Alabama. I think if the committee would look at it and take blind resumes into account here, and I know that's not a part of their process, our team would benefit from that exercise. Just to look purely at the merits, purely at the quality wins and at the losses. And again, I think this group deserves to be competing for a national championship. What a great stage for the most exciting offense in all of college football. And when you talk about our offense, this is according to Sports Source Analytics. We're number 1 in offensive efficiency. We're number 1 in yards per play. We're number 2 in DSSR, down series success rate. We're number 3 in points per possession, number 3 in third down efficiency, number 3 in big play percentage, number 3 in offensive control rating, and number 8 in scoring offense, which includes being number 4 in points per play. We've got the best player in the country playing quarterback for us, Diego Pavia. He is the best in college football. Should be a Heisman frontrunner. We believe he belongs in New York, and he belongs winning that award. And so this team deserves the brightest lights in the biggest stages. They've earned that right. And look, I don't care how we have to get there. They can tell me whatever they want to tell me. If they want my team to play 4 more games, we'll play 4 more. If there are teams that we need to play against to play into it, tell me when and tell me where. We'll put the ball down in the parking lot and play. This group is competitive. They're tough. It's a blood and guts team, and they poured their hearts into this. They deserve the right to have a chance to win it all. With that, I'm happy to open for questions.
We'll start with Grace.
Coach, you mentioned the wins over ranked teams at the time. Much of the discourse since then has been about how your ranked wins at the time, those teams have since fallen off, notably LSU, notably South Carolina. What do you have to say about the fact that the committee seems to be leaning more towards current wins over currently ranked teams and, sort of downplaying those wins
I think, again, what you notice is part of the reasons those teams have fallen off is because I don't think that we were respected at the level we should have been respected, like the quality of team that we are. And so, when you look at LSU, Missouri, and Tennessee, they finished 23-0 against unranked teams. They were 0-13 against the top 14. And speaking specifically about LSU, they have 5 losses. Those losses are Oklahoma, Vanderbilt, Texas A&M, Alabama, and Ole Miss. I mean, Missouri has 4 losses: Vanderbilt, Texas A&M, Oklahoma, and Alabama. Tennessee has 4 losses: Vanderbilt, Georgia, Oklahoma, and Alabama. I mean, this is about a league that is the playoffs. When you play in the SEC, every week you are in the playoffs. And so I know there's a lot of talk about the SEC and the bias towards the strength of our league, but look at the teams, look at the performances, understand exactly what the gauntlet is that we go through to get to this point. We have a 10-2 SEC football team. And at the end of the day, in my mind, that should be enough. And I think some of those teams were discounted because they lost to Vanderbilt. Well, Vanderbilt's got a damn good football team.
Chrisley.
You talked about beating the spread, and a lot of computer numbers still have you kind of borderline in terms of, like, FBI I think has you like 12 or so. Is part of the point you're making there that the computers, which track pretty heavily with the spreads, are kind of underestimating what you guys have done still?
Chris, I would be like so over my skis. Let me tell you about how many spreads I look at in the season, but I am collecting every bit of information I can, and what I understand is the spread is an indicator of expected point differential. Yeah. And so, yes, I think there is we are being underestimated in terms of the strength and performance of our football team. And for whatever reason, wherever that stems from, if you look at other teams as they perform against the spread, it's glaring, the difference. And so that's all I kind of want to say on that. Otherwise, I'm going to get out of my league here pretty quick.
Aria, in the back.
Yeah, you signed an extension right before the Tennessee game, and among the things that was announced recently is a new football experience center. What does that entail to you, and what does it mean to you to have continuous facility upgrades after that's you called for them earlier this year?
It's an indicator of alignment, and I've talked a lot about the need for facility, and we're behind, and so we need to catch up. And there are certain ways we have caught up, and there are other ways that we still lag behind. And so facilities don't get built overnight. I learned that the hard way with the stadium. It felt like forever, and we have to plan. We have to break the ground and then go through the process of building the building, and hopefully that can be done in the next 2 or 3 years in total. But until then, it's about how we invest in this building to make it at a level of quality that supports an SEC football team and a playoff football team. Every day is performance. And so when you talk about your team's experience in the building, whether it's recovery modalities, whether it's spaces for them to connect and collaborate, I would imagine we're the only Power 4 team and possibly the only FBS football team that doesn't have a designated player lounge. We have probably the closest team in the country, and we've done that without that designated space. So, we need to get new chairs, we need to paint the walls, we need to replace the graphics, we need to do all the things that show the level of investment, not just in 3 years from now, but day to day as we progress this program forward. All of that is met with alignment from our administration. Candace has been just an incredible partner. Chancellor Diermeyer has been an incredible partner, and we are all 3 anxious to build on the momentum of this season, and so I feel so good and so excited about where this is headed, and we're going to get there quickly. But in the meantime, we can't just punt our progress for 3 years from now. We got to show that day in, day out here. We are responding to the results and supporting this team at a higher level.
Chris Harris.
Ask Candace this too. is there something that may lead you to believe that, because teams do it at this time of year every year, that lobbying on behalf of your team may have some sway over how the committee ends up deciding, since it is a little subjective because there's a human element to it?
Well, that's why I'm here today, you know? I mean, I like hanging out with Teresa. I knew she was gonna be here, and so I got excited. And Aria, you could have come down in the first few rows, but I appreciate that too.
I wanted to be able to see you, I couldn't see you.
Okay, fair enough. That's fair enough. Most people don't wanna see me, so I appreciate the fact that, so, yeah, I mean, I'm here because of that. And I know there's human elements to this, and I know there's a room of people that are gonna discuss the merits and are gonna look at all the resumes, and, you know, it's important that I fight for my team. And, you know, we're a team that's intact. We're a team that our coaching staff believes in this group. Our players believe in each other. I mean, they are so mission focused. And again, so much of late football comes down to, you know, how consistent can you be? How committed are you to winning? This group is as committed as any group that I've been around, and so I would love to see that taken into that playoff stage, because I think we could do some damage there. And I hope the human element of this is paying attention to what I believe is a compelling argument for a really good football team.
Chrisley.
Any ideas on facilities when you get things started, when you'd like to have them completed, and if you don't know, what are the variables that are going to influence that?
No, we know. I mean, we've aligned on, you know, obviously there's a planning process that we have to go through, because rushing into this and doing it halfway isn't gonna cut it. So, we want this to be a football experience center with a connected indoor. We want to make sure it's best in class. We won't worry about all those amenities that the city of Nashville provides. So this isn't about putt-putt courses and whatever else, slides and such, you know. But it's about the highest quality commitment to performance and the student-athlete experience. And so, you know, I'm expecting that planning phase to take about a year. I'm expecting the shovels to go in the ground sometime just beyond a year from now, and I'm expecting the building to be complete sometime within 3 years, you know, and the rest of that is up to the weather and whatever other factors come into play. But this is about moving urgently. I mean, I've been here 5 seasons, you know, it's time. And again, I speak on this in total alignment with our chancellor and our athletic director. This is a priority, and it needs to be a priority. And the reason I'm standing in front of you is because, again, we've come to an agreement of exactly the level of urgency we need to have moving forward.
Henry.
I think some of these things were things that you were promised loosely when you got here. The fact that you're 5 years down the road, don't have them, and still you're out on planning, is that because something has changed with your needs, or what happened there?
No, just like anything. I mean, obviously this has been a time of transformation, and let me take a step back as the football coach and just say, like, what a time to be a Commodore. I mean, there's success happening everywhere you turn. So that is the vision of our chancellor, and that is about the leadership of our athletic director. She's the best in the country. And as we set sights on, you know, our stadium build, there were things logistically that could not get done in the footprint of our stadium. And rather than try to squeeze them in and somehow, you know, finagle a disjointed footprint, the decision was made to work in 2 phases rather than 1. And so we're dealing with the logistics of being landlocked, you know, in the heart of a vibrant city. All good things. And I don't know, I think I've learned since I was a kid, good things come to those who wait. So we've practiced patience here. It's not that it hasn't been frustrating. It's not that there haven't been days where, you know, that frustration boils over, but boy, do I feel supported right now standing in front of you. And again, you know, it's about that alignment from top down and bottom up, and we have that, and we're gonna ride that into this next, you know, phase of our program build.
Henry, then Elena.
Yeah, Chancellor Dumeyer released a statement about an hour ago, just making Vanderbilt's case for the CFP and Padua for Heisman. Just what does it mean to have that support from just the highest levels of the university?
That means everything. And the chancellor, yeah, again, we had now the documented dinner that broke the fasting, which that's somewhere in the Bible too, I think. But just his vision and his spirit around what we're doing, how it connects to the university mission. This idea that we're going to be disruptors and we're going to be aggressive in the way we approach and attack our agenda. I mean, it was an inspirational visit. And since then, all he's done is come in our team meeting and spoken to the team. He's been in touch with me. He reaches out, after all the games. He's been in our locker room, and I mean, he's lit on fire for Vanderbilt football, and I think that's a great thing. And when in our past has that ever been the case? I don't know. Obviously, I'm only responsible for this time, but I don't know that there's been that kind of spirited support from the top office. And it just, and again, if you pay attention to our chancellor, I mean, he has got a very aggressive vision for this university. And the fact that he sees our program as a part of that vision makes me really confident about where we're headed.
Elena.
There was a video of your players reacting to when they heard about you getting extended. What did that excitement, just seeing the look on their faces, really mean to you, just knowing that they were going to have you here longer?
It meant the world to me, and I want to be careful because I don't want to get emotional about it. This is a human endeavor, and these are people that I've called into a level of investment and sacrifice and suffering that most people would back away from, and all this team has done is stepped into it every time. That's about trust. And the 2 months leading up to that moment weren't always straightforward and weren't always easy as the leader of the program. I had to practice compartmentalizing, the work that was so important to be done in terms of keeping a team and a staff focused on the mission. The mission's winning. And also understand that there were factors that might take me elsewhere. I mean, that's a reality of where we are. And ultimately, through that process, the thing I settled on is that everyone wants what we have here at Vanderbilt. What makes this place special is the people, is the heartbeat. These kids have signed up for this before there's a building that represents, how great this program can be. Many of them before the stadium looked anything close to what the stadium looks like. And if you pay attention to our environment, the spirit and emotion of our team is rippled out into our community. It all goes hand in hand. And so to share that moment with them, to know that I was standing in front of them, not as the coach that will be here for another game, but as a coach that will be here for a long time. And then, obviously in those moments, you want that feeling reciprocated, I mean, I wanted to know that they wanted me here, and I'm grateful that they do. So that was an incredible celebration. My family was here for it. It was my wife's birthday, which, made it extra special. And then to turn around and to go one more time in the regular season, play a tough game on the road and win in a meaningful way, capped it all off. I'll never forget that experience, and I'm so grateful for these guys, the players, the staff, for their belief in me, their trust in me, and their dedication and devotion to the mission.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, guys.